Yay!
And good evening, everybody.
We're here.
We're here. It is yet again that every other Monday.
Every
where
other
we do
Monday.
the thing.
That is correct.
The
Chuck
thing
wasn't too
in the
offended
place.
that we didn't do our original plan. He just got back in town, so he's kind of a little I offered to let him go ahead and pop up in here.
Well, it's
but-
kind of my fault because I have been derelict.
It is your fault.
I thought it was
It
always
is.
Nick's
I
fault.
will. Hey,
Isn't that what
I
the
have
thing was?
I have been derelict in getting my TurboGrafx gaming underway, but I have a decent reason for it.
Lies.
I discovered that RetroRoots has a DOSBox core that allows you to install an OS. So I kind of been playing with Windows 98 again.
Wow, 98.
There's some good games in
solid.
it. It was solid. It was some great games back then.
For its time, 98 was very, very solid. I think Windows 7 has been, and Windows 7 and then Windows 10 have been the next best ones.
8 was good. There wasn't anything fundamentally wrong with 8, other than it kind of looked.
I hated it because of the tablet format. 8 was trash for that sole reason.
Well, from a stability standpoint, look, it wasn't Windows ME.
Well, yeah, I mean, it takes a lot to become a Windows ME.
Yeah.
To be fair.
I had no feelings one way or the other about any operating system, so
I did, but that's because I work in IT and I did a ton of PC gaming, so it was kind of a thing. It was kind of like one of those things.
Fair enough.
Chuck's making fun of my backdrop again.
I
feel like this is revenge because we didn't have him on the show. What's up, Stampede?
I am taking full responsibility for this because I want to be, if we're going to do this and we're going to talk TurboGrafx, I want to know what I'm talking about. I want to not embarrass myself in front of Master Chuck.
This is going to be different how?
See, I was going to tell you I like that Halo Reach shirt. But you know what?
No. Well, now. Shirt sucks.
That's right. Your shirt sucks.
Hey, Carla.
And also, Stampede, I agree with you. There's nothing cool about getting someone fired.
What happened? What did I miss?
I don't know. I don't know who got fired.
Inside
I mean,
joke.
I was making fun of Mike, but that doesn't mean I'm going to fire him. I mean, he's our comic relief right now.
Nice. Very nice.
Hey, Zombie. What's up, Ashley?
What's up, everyone?
Good to see everybody tonight. So we got a good crowd coming in tonight. Everybody's kind of finding us. We started on time. That's improvement. Hasn't always happened. So how was everybody's weekend, Mike? You did a lot of yard work, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my
Didn't
goodness.
play any TurboGrafx. I think you're supposed to.
No.
What's up, Games?
Not. Hey, Games. You know what? In a rare time when I could get my kids outside and get them working in the yard with me. I mean, we had it was a great day. Saturday was all rain, so I played and I messed with Windows 98.
It's been raining a lot around here lately too, which is weird for Colorado. Like Colorado in the summer, usually you get most of your water table from snow during the winter. You don't really get a lot of rain. But we're getting a lot more rain lately. It's been kind of bizarre.
Talk about way out west. We could use some of that.
Take it.
Yeah, California could always use rain because everything's always on fire.
Dude, it was in the low 80s today in Maryland
dude.
in July. It's usually like 90 some odd.
The joke's on you, DJ. Say it is a cigarette machine, sir. Ha-ha!
No.
Golden axe on the tree in the yard. Legendary axe on the tree in the yard. Rob, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, Sunday was Capybara Day, so of course we went swimming.
Nice.
And Saturday I got a haircut. That was pretty much the extent of my weekend excitement. So
I need to get another haircut.
Yeah.
My weekend
fun,
was kind of uneventful. I mean, I hung out with my buddy on Friday. We were going to do a grill out this weekend, and that kind of went south. Mostly because Saturday was just kind of like Saturday wasn't good for everybody because we did a little bit too much on Friday. We're like, we're going to do this on Sunday. And then Sunday rolls around and he hits me because, okay, my cats woke me up like every 45 minutes. And I'm like, what? He's like, I've gotten no sleep. And I'm like, okay, we'll do something later. What's up, Big Block? Other than that, I worked on a bunch of videos that I'm going to be loading up onto the channel every so often, at least on the new channel, because the videos are so short and they're all different topics. I can kind of crank out a bunch of those over the course of I can write them up during the week because they're real short, and I can record a lot of them on the weekend, stuff like that. And so I got a bunch of those ready. For those of you that don't know, the new channel did launch. I've got a couple weeks of content on there now. I've got this week's worth of content, and then it's mostly out until I get these loaded this week. So that's on, and that'll be another 2 weeks worth of content. You guys seem to be liking it so far. The people that have subscribed, some things do well, some things don't move at all. Some things take forever to gain traction, or they just don't go anywhere. It's kind of hard to tell. It's a new adventure and one I'm kind of having fun with, so it'll probably stick around. I can't see any reason not to. But if you see any content missing from this channel that you thought, wait a minute, I could have swore that was there, it's because it moved. Because I'm condensing all the history stuff to that channel. So that's kind of what I've been working on. I want to do some more stuff for this channel. I may do some uploads here, but I'm trying to figure out what I want to do and to try to get time to be able to do that amongst other things, because it seems like a lot of times, even on the weekend, like this weekend, I was trying to play Monster Hunter Rise a little bit. So that every time I got involved in a fight, it's like something needed to happen, and so I had to stop. And for a while, it was very frustrating because I couldn't figure out how to pause it, because when it was in there, there was no apparent pause button anywhere in the game, and I'm like, what the hell? So I finally found it was buried like 2 tabs deep, and I'm like, oh, that's annoying, but at least I found it. So that made my life easier this weekend with that game. I still got to finish Chrono Trigger. I got to sit down and just push through the rest of that. I think I've got 1 or 2 more main quests, but it's probably another 2 hours of gameplay at least, I would think, to finish that.
And you're only going to be doing just beating it the first time. You're not going to try to go through all
I think so. Yeah, my understanding is when you do New Game Plus on that one, the monsters don't get any stronger, and you can just collect more gear, and get different endings.
Yeah,
most of which you can only get in New Game Plus. I don't know if I like the game well enough to do that. There's a lot of things I like about it, and there's a lot of things I don't like about it, which kind of keeps it kind of for me as far as RPGs go.
I'm going to have to risk offending a lot of people, but I think Chrono Trigger might be one of those games you might have just had to actually be there. Granted, I'm not a huge RPG guy. I did play it on the DS, which it could be argued is one of the definitive versions of the game, since it has the cutscenes from the PlayStation version. And yeah, I thought this shirt would go well this show. I liked that it was a lot more fast paced than some of the other RPGs I played around the time, but it was okay. It was okay. It didn't change my life, which is what I was kind of promised. And
that's what I heard from everybody. That's the best RPG ever created. And I'm like, well, I mean, there's a lot of what I found started tying the whole thing together is when I got to the very end, and you do if you do all the side quests for everybody, you get a lot of background on their behavior, what they are. They get a lot of closure, and there's a lot of character growth there. Madison, we're not speaking on that game. And you get a lot of background on the characters, and they kind of round out really well around that time. And somebody was telling me in Discord, I want to say it was Eating Paste, who was like, oh yeah, some people don't get Chrono back. I'm like, how? First off, it literally almost tells you blatantly that's the next quest. And secondly, you have a freaking time machine. Why would your brain not go there? I'm assuming there's an ending if you don't get Chrono back. I'm assuming there's a special ending that way.
I think I've heard about some of the endings or some of the story changes. It might be a little overrated. Maybe I'll stop there. But yeah, I played just the one, and I appreciated the time that I spent with it. But it was like it was a game I played. That's kind of the most I could say about it. So
it's a game.
Hey, Born.
It was a game.
Cousin Born.
A very competent game. How about that? So
mine is April the 4th, Stampede. So 4/4. I could see that, and see, Potion. I had the same kind of thing happen to me. Is like I played so many RPGs before I got around to Chrono Trigger. I think the beauty of Chrono Trigger was lost on me a little bit. And there's a couple of things that I like about like going into a fight scene where you have these really nice, well-designed pixel art for the monsters. Whereas on Chrono Trigger, it's whatever was on the screen, that's what you're fighting. Sometimes it's really cool looking. Sometimes that's like, I wish they had done something more elaborate and cool with it and taken me into a battle scene. I think that would have been more fun for me. The active battle system, I found out way late in the game that you could turn that off because I found playing the game kind of frustrating by that. Because if you're not quick or you're trying to think your way through the fight, you really can't. You have to just react and hope you're picking the right thing, or you get wiped. And then you either look up a guide or you keep experimenting with the fight until you do figure it out. Because you don't have any time to go, well, that didn't work. Let me look through my spells and see what I have. That's not really an option in the active mode because all their bars will refill and they'll just keep attacking you. And that downed me a couple of times in the game, quite frankly. And then the story, well, really cool is not... I feel like they could have done more with the time travel. Maybe the alternate endings will tell me more about that if I go through that. But I felt like it was a kind of a missed opportunity for a good chunk of the timelines. As far as like the time travel needing to exist kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Only bet to work was JJ and Jeff. I've seen JJ and Jeff. That's a weird one, dude.
Sounds like Mick and Mac.
What's up, Sandwich?
Sandwich is here. We got a great crowd. We got about 14 people hanging out right now.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, Pac-Land is a weird game. It's such an early platformer. It's kind of a strange game.
That was a 2D platformer, wasn't it?
It was. It was one of the first 2D side-scrolling platformers, particularly with platforms that could like rotate and move and things like that. It was kind of the blueprint for Mario when it really came down to it, because it came out before Mario. Well, Super Mario World. I don't know if it came out before Mario Brothers. I can't remember the timeline on it, because I want to say Pac-Land was like 1982, 83, I can't remember Mario Brothers release date.
Well, let's see. Pac-Land is a 1984.
Okay, so later than I thought.
Mario Brothers, are we talking Super Mario Brothers or Mario Brothers the...
I'm talking original Mario Brothers. Super Mario Brothers was 85 because it coincided with the launch of the NES.
I just want to make sure we're talking about the same one. That one, hold on.
Yeah, no arcade stick for Pac-Land's kind of weird. You could make it work with that one. I'm certain it could work. It's just strange.
So that came out in 1983. So it came out a year before Pac-Land.
Okay. But it wasn't. That was a single screen platformer.
I was going to say
wasn't a side-scrolling platformer.
And I mean, does that? Oh my God, this is not the topic night for this, but does that count as a platformer?
Oh well, yeah. I mean, there's platforms, and you jump on them, and you jump on enemies. It's definitely a platformer.
If you want to actually compare Pac-Land, you need to be comparing it to Super Mario.
But I wouldn't compare Pac-Land to it because Pac-Land is much more advanced.
Mario Brothers, so it's Super Mario.
What's up, Eugene?
What's up, Eugene?
Hey, Eugene.
Yeah, Pac-Land is a lot more advanced as far as what you're doing on it, like the side-scrolling, the moving platforms, the jumping, and all those mechanics are a lot more advanced. in that game than the original Mario Brothers.
Yeah, that's why you never compare Pac-Man to Mario Brothers.
Yeah. Now, Super Mario Brothers, you can compare them all day.
Yes.
But not Mario Brothers, not the original Mario Brothers. Which a lot of people, including me, missed until like way later. Like I completely didn't play it until like way later in its lifespan.
Oh, see, I played it when it was in the arcade.
I think I messed with it 1 or 2 times when it was in the arcade, but I think I already had Super Mario Brothers by the time I found an arcade cabinet of it to play. So it really wasn't all that interesting. I think I remember playing at my local Pizza Hut.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to go back when you're a kid used to Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, and play Mario Brothers? Yeah, it's kind of hard.
So the reason all right, I would only disagree with that because if you think about that single screen kind of game, you know what it kind of reminds me of?
Pac-Man?
Joust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can go back and play.
And there's nothing wrong. Joust, I think, is more fun when you have multiple people. Joust, just on Joust, I think is okay. It's not a bad game. It's not my favorite game. But if you get a bunch of people trying to like beat on each other in Joust, it can get really funny really fast.
Yes. If you ever played Joust 2, that was a great upgrade.
I don't think I ever played Joust 2. I played the original Joust 1 or 2 times and I remember thinking it was okay, but I wasn't playing against anybody either. And honestly, if somebody wanted to revisit Joust, I would totally do a 4 to 8 player Joust.
Mm.
Even if you kept it like retro style, like the original style, just being able to do like 4 to 8 players. The same thing, the original only did 2 players at most.
Right, because you were also going up against the computer.
Right, but if you could do like all people,
oh, that would be awesome.
That would just be a ton of fun. Like 4 to 8 players just beating on each other. That could be a lot of fun. That'd be a cool game to revisit one day if somebody gets a mind to do it. Now we do have a topic tonight. We were going to talk about the evolution of music and video games, and just music and video games in general. So it's probably not going to happen in any particular order. It'll probably start in an order, and then it'll devolve into chaos, because that's how our show works. And frankly, we like it that way. When you guys get engaged and it becomes more of an organic thing, it's a lot more fun for us, and I think you guys have more fun with it too. So Scepter wants to start with chip tunes, and I can kind of get down with that because the first factoid I have is I think the first actual sound that would probably count as a chip tune would have been on a Pong machine, and that was done through putting it through the same output as the actual tube TV that they were going to. They managed to split that off and make a minute amount of sound. Let's just say I want to say maybe like 2 to 3 tones, and I think that's all it could do.
And see, when I think of chiptune, yeah, I mean, I guess I could, because I also think of like Space Invaders.
Now, see, here's my confusion. Like, where do we start on this? Because you could start with where sound came into video games, or do you start where actual music was in games? Because that's much later, right?
Well, not necessarily.
Well, if you count arcade, it's earlier. If you count home consoles, it's like 5200 and above.
There was some music in Atari and Intellivision games.
But the Intellivision and the ColecoVision had music in some of their games.
Yes.
The Atari 2600 would have small tunes of music, like in Pitfall when you'd swing on the vine. But I wouldn't really call that music, more like a sound effect.
But Pitfall 2 did.
And E.T. and Raiders of the Lost Ark did.
Did they both have music? Like straight up music?
E.T. actually had title theme. I think they had title screen music. I think it was the E.T. theme. I think Raiders of the Lost Ark also had a very rudimentary version of...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not looking for like, full band orchestra scores here. I'm just looking for something that like carries a tune rather than just bleeps and bloops, which is mostly what we had on 2600 and the Fairchild Channel F and the Magnavox Odyssey 2. I don't think the Magnavox Odyssey 1 even had music.
No,
I don't think it had any
no.
audio, actually.
I don't know if the Odyssey did. I don't remember.
I don't think the Odyssey 1 did. Odyssey 2 might have. I haven't dug too much into Odyssey 2. What's up, CM Retro?
What's up, CM?
Hey, CM, what's up? Well,
did Rogue get kicked out of his gaming room? I must have missed the explanation. Well, the story we were told is it's like 103 in his gaming area, also known as his garage, and he wasn't dealing with that nonsense tonight. So he boosted.
I hijacked my kid's room. So
yeah,
this is I tried to get all the toys out of the frame as much as I could, but yeah, it's much cooler.
I would have just kept the toys in the frame.
Yeah, I didn't get them all, but like Baymax, he's out of the frame, toothless, got him out. But yeah, I don't have my dual screen, which means I can't be typing, and which is what I'd like to be doing, is actually interacting with the chat. So I'm just gonna sit here and watch the chat scroll across the screen that I can't interact with them.
Well, you could always pop out the chat.
Yeah, but as soon as I start opening up more windows on the computer screen, then my image starts really freezing and stuttering. So, and then I lose this screen to see what's going on. What
as an IT person, you make me sad, Panda. Hey, Hasselhoff. Hey, Brian. How are you guys doing? 103
all my
good tip for physical media.
That's
probably not.
There's no real games back in there. All my real stuff is in the house where it is safe, temperature controlled.
I was going to say, because I've seen heels melt in like 103 degree weather, like literally melt while my wife was wearing them. So 103 degrees is not good for most of your hardware now.
No. So games on the Atari 2600 that had background music: Pitfall 2, Mountain King, Moon Patrol, Blueprint, Journey Escape, Crystal Castles that had music between the levels.
Okay.
Dig Dug. Dig Dug had.
I don't remember. Yes. It's been so long since I played Dig Dug. I don't really remember. And I think the last version I played was probably the arcade version. So that wouldn't even be comparing apples to apples there.
And then some others that had music, somewhere in it. So as Rob said, Rob is correct. Raiders of the Lost Ark, E.T., Popeye, which plays the Popeye the Sailor theme when you grab spinach.
Yeah.
Gyruss, which plays Toccata and Fugue in D minor.
Okay.
Frogger.
Okay, and apparently Dig Dug music only plays when you're walking.
Correct.
And Mega Mania apparently did not have background music, but he always hears the commercial music in his head when he's playing. And honestly, that's the thing with the earlier tunes. Like 8-bit, you start hitting like a normal tune, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You have like a standard beat. It's all like MIDI style music and chip tunes, which I love, by the way. And I agree with CM Retro that I think as I've gotten older, I actually appreciate those tunes more now than I did when I was a kid. Not only because the sheer complexity of making music on hardware like that, but just partly the nostalgia and just it's a very specific sound that I miss. And I know a lot of if we have any younger viewers probably wouldn't have that same kind of nostalgia for it, but there's something that takes me back to my childhood. That's straight up nostalgia when I hear a good chiptune.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Even modern games with chiptunes will strike that same chord because it's in that same vein.
Well, and some of that stuff is so memorable. So I wasn't I wasn't an NES guy, but I recognized that songs like Vampire Hunter from Castlevania. That is it's so catchy. I learned to play it. It's one of those. It's one of those songs I can play on the piano.
What's up, Best Back?
You know, Ghosts and Goblins, another one.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get back to the original stuff because we kind of glossed over the Intellivision. The Intellivision was the primary competitor to the Atari 2600, and
realistically, it was competing more against the originally 2600, but it really in the end it was competing with the 5200 in the ColecoVision.
In the end, but its primary competition, I mean, that really was the 2600. That was what George Plimpton's commercials and all were all about.
Those are all really good games, CM Retro. I kind of want to get into Gremlins too. After seeing Matthews play it, I both really want to jump into it and I really don't.
Live streaming.
But those games all had, well, not all of them, but many games. I think who said Snafu in the chat? Snafu was one.
Let me look up because I'm missing some of the chat as we're talking because I'm focusing on our chat and I'm not doing as good of a job of bringing it up.
I know I saw it and they were right. Snafu has it and it has it the whole time.
Yeah, the Intellivision did a really good job of having background music for a lot of its games. More so than a lot of other consoles. Even ColecoVision did it sometimes, but not all the time. Like Time Pilot has no background music.
No, but
Smurfs does.
But Time Pilot never had background music. It just had it didn't have music during the
Big
game.
Block. Started with Snafu on a television.
Yeah, there we go. But for like ColecoVision though, there were some great games that had, like Donkey Kong Jr. had background music. Venture had background music. Cosmic Avenger. But there were, games that in the arcade had it. It had it too. Congo Bongo. That's right. That's another one on television that had the music. It was.
Night Stalker has music on there. And up until around 83, it was Atari and Intellivision, and then ColecoVision dropped right around that time.
Yes.
And then eventually there was an Intellivision 2, and that one could play 2600 games, and so could the ColecoVision. They both had attachments.
I never saw the attachment for the Intellivision.
My understanding from the research I did is that the original television didn't have it, but the second one did.
Really? Huh.
Which made the 5200 the only console that couldn't play 2600 games in that generation.
Right. It didn't come back. It didn't come back until the 7800, which then did have it because it had the 2600 chipset. And apparently
we need to talk about nothing else but Ghosts and Goblins.
Ghosts and fucking Goblins.
Yeah, I wish my keyboard was working. I'd bring it over here and start playing some music for you. Then we'd get flagged.
That was my big worry going in tonight, by the way, guys, is I'm like, can we do this and not get flagged?
Oh, yeah, we can. Yes. And even if you did, unless you're monetizing the video, it doesn't matter. It just says...
Rhea, Dragon's Lair is an amazing game to play. It doesn't really have what you would call gameplay. It has snap reaction, where you have to kind of figure out where you need to go. And Dragon's Lair and Dragon's Lair 2 are the best at that. Space Ace is kind of terrible at it.
Really?
It's not the best. You can make it through them. They do have some hits. And you could turn those off, apparently. Apparently, there's like a hard mode, because I was watching Alpha Nerd, who I haven't seen in a while. I haven't checked out. I got to check out his channel more. Had gone through and played those on like hard mode when there's like no tips. Do what? Did you take a break?
He's on
that's fair.
Sabbatical.
But he went through on a bunch of those. And those games, when they're played cleanly, look like a cartoon. It's amazing to watch them be played properly.
No, because they're basically, if you remember, they came on laser discs.
Yeah, they were on Laserdisc. You could play them a multitude of different ways. It's a lot of quick time events. The artwork's amazing. The animation's amazing, and I was at a Chuck E. Cheese where they had a big monitor above the cabinet.
Yep.
So that everybody behind you could see you playing the game, and it was phenomenal. There was always a big crowd.
You know who did the animation for all that?
Don Bluth?
Yeah.
You mean in the comment that I have actually listed just below?
I didn't. I'm sorry. I had to look up. I had to look up when the ColecoVision was actually.
This is kind of like your racing game answer from the other day, Rob.
Yeah, it's like, racing game? Did Don Bluth do the animation?
I don't even see where
plus the design of what's the princess's name from Dragon's Lair?
Daphne.
Daphne, I like her design. Makes me feel all tingly.
The one for the girl from Space Ace is pretty amazing too. The redhead, but I can't remember her name.
I can hear that opening dialogue.
Yeah, Ray, you have to watch the animation and learn when to input the right sequence, which is usually either direction, a button, or a direction and a button. It's not anything super complicated.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of trial and error and figuring out and learning the timing, because sometimes the flash key, the flash on the screen, is the right timing, and sometimes you just have to watch the animation and be ready to go.
Kimberly was her name.
Kimberly, okay.
And Commander Borf.
Commander Borf.
I have that. So there's a collection that has I have it on Xbox. Dragon's Lair 2, Time Warp, Space Ace.
Yes. I think those are the only 3. I don't think they ever made a second Space Ace.
They did.
Did they?
Yes.
I mean, it's dope that they did. One of these days, I'd like to actually learn how to get through all those. I think the farthest I ever got in Dragon's Lair is I think I got to and I know the rooms are randomized, but it was more fixed in the version I played, and I could always get to I want to say the marble room.
The marble room was fun. You had to, that was all timing, and then you had to remember you had to jump forward at the end of it, or you fell down a hole.
Yeah. There
was most of the home conversions of Dragon's Lair were fixed like that, because the CD mediums, the Sega CD and all those didn't have the read speed of the Laserdisc arcade, so it couldn't.
And I think that's where I played it, was on Sega CD. I think that was
my biggest it was
because I played it in the arcade once or twice and never got very good at it, but I think I had it for the Sega CD.
Yep. The best version I've seen was a PC version before before the Xbox and PS4 versions, but there was a PC
By the way,
version.
One moment. I don't know if I said hi to 90s Reloaded. I don't even know if you're still in chat, but hi. I pulled up the comment. Oh, wait, didn't. I think we were in the middle of something. So my apologies. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. There was a PC version in the late 90s that installed to your hard drive, and that
would probably be amazing. Having that on an SSD now would be phenomenal. That'd be so quick.
I'll tell you what, it's very quick on the Xbox or PlayStation, whichever one you get. I mean, it's because it's sitting on a hard drive.
Yeah, how's the music in Dragon's Lair? Is it good?
It's a cartoon. I mean, it's literally a cartoon.
I don't remember a ton of music from that
music.
one.
There's just
I remember victory music when you complete a room.
Yeah. Dun, da, da, da-dum.
Yeah.
And then there's there's the intro, which was like a trailer, which had music. But yeah, no, otherwise
it on the NES did look like a mess.
Yeah.
That was me trying to get us back on topic a little bit. So.
Yeah, I know. We got derailed again. It's okay. It happens to us a lot. We're frequently and most of the time derailed. So we've gone into, to kind of refocus here, we've gone into a television. We talked about some of those. ColecoVision had a little bit, mostly kind of some high-pitched chip tunes from Smurfs and stuff. It was not the best music.
No, but again,
every doorstep has music. Yeah, cartoons have great music. Ninja Gaiden 2, Mario Bros. 3, Castlevania 3, Metroid, Mega Man, Zelda, Tecmo Bowl, Nightshade. Yeah, when you start hitting NES and to an extent Mega Drive, which I don't have a lot of exposure to, I need to dive more into that console to
Mega
get a better feel
Drive?
for it. Yeah, the original
Genesis.
Mega Drive. I mean, I have tons of exposure to the Genesis, but not Mega Drive.
Which
I'm sorry, Master System.
Okay.
System.
They're
My
Alright.
bad. My bad. I'm getting my names confused tonight. Master System. Yeah, Mega Drive and Genesis are the same freaking thing, just different, marketed differently, different areas.
Yes, Mega Drive was Europe. I did not get much into the Master System either, but I've watched a lot of Master System stuff from RetroRoots, from Bacon Ice Cream Productions.
Dorkside's been getting really into doing comparisons on it and stuff like that too.
And same with so Dorkside and Marceau. So those are the three that I've been watching Master System.
Yeah, I haven't dove too much into Marceau's channel. I've dipped my toe in there 1 or 2 times, but not too deep. Dorkside, I generally tend to pop in on a lot of his, and he's had some pretty good, solid comparisons on there.
Yeah, I tend to watch his stuff afterwards just because of the time he does it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair.
But like with but going back to the ColecoVision, because the ColecoVision also then went into, so this is where I kind of veered into computer sound, because before the advent of consoles, I mean, I had the Atari 800, I had the Atari computer systems, I had a Tandy 1000 EX, and the Atari computer system and the 5200 were basically the same thing. So, the games were identical on both. There was a lot of great music on those platforms, and not just on that platform, but I started getting into the Commodore 64 a little more as I was working on some emulation stuff on the VCS, realizing that the Commodore 64 had some amazing music.
Dude, I used to hate it, but I really like that SID chip sound. It just something about it just is so distinctive. So it's impossible for me not to think, Brits and Europeans by just the tone of the music. But it was very a lot more elaborate than what we got on the NES for sure. I think just because they used 2 more channels. No, it wasn't 2 more channels. It was 3 channels versus 5, but those 3 channels could do more stuff, I think is what it was. 8-Bit Guy did an explanation of that. I'm vaguely trying to remember what that was. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, Hasselhoff was saying the early systems couldn't really do running background music because of limited sound channels and processing power, which makes total sense because, I mean, you're still in the very early days of microprocessors, right? So they're not very powerful. You're just now getting things on carts. The space on the carts is limited because memory, like, ROM chips and stuff like that are expensive. So you couldn't really you could do way more than you could with the Odyssey just by the nature of it. But you couldn't do a ton, right? It was all still pretty new. And Thumb Brothers and Hugo's in here.
What's up, Thumb and Hugo?
Hey, what's up, Thumb? What's up, Hugo?
Hi, Born. Didn't say hi earlier.
And I thought I said hi to Born earlier, but if I didn't, hi, Born. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up here. And this has actually been a really lively chat, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah. But those computers, that's really where I really got started into the advent of music, because then I graduated from an 800 and 1200 into an Atari ST, and between the Atari ST and the Amiga, I mean, those were the big competitors at that point. The Atari ST actually had MIDI support, which is the first time a computer had that, and the sound quality between those two were even better. And I mean, it was very close to.
Good to see you, Hugo. Thanks for popping in, dude.
I mean, it was really close to what you heard on the NES, who was the I actually think that that those computer systems were a little bit better. Now the PC, not so much with the exception of the Tandy 1000 EX, the Tandy series, but I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of great music that came out of my 8-bit computers.
Yeah, hats off says that ST actually had MIDI output.
It did.
And Jim wants to know who's the greatest video game composer of all time. And I don't know a lot of names of video game composers.
I think he wants you to say Tommy.
I'm certain he wants me to say Tommy, but there's also the guy who did Streets of Rage 2 and Revenge of Shinobi. And that music is amazing.
He's pretty good.
That's Yuzo Koshiro.
Also, I sometimes remember all their names.
Spencer Nilsson.
Yeah, he's good. The main composer for the Sunsoft games.
Hey, Hector.
Yes, in Genesis days.
Hector.
What's up, Hector?
Hi, by the way, Jan.
Nakoe Kadaka.
I think so.
Naoki Kadaka.
He's fantastic. Take your pick of any of the composers for the Castlevania games. Misuru Yamane is probably the one everyone knows. She's pretty amazing. What's always kind of struck me, and we don't have to go off on this tangent, just something I've always noticed, how many, especially in Japan, how many video game composers were women. There's a lot of the really classic games, classic tunes, they were women. What's her name from the original Mega Man? So all the classic Mega Man sounds, the collecting a 1-up, all the pea shooters, that's what they all did. So she would do the music and create all these sound effects. So
Hanami Matsumoto.
Yes. Another one that's I'm not great with even American names. So
And honestly, I could see 8-bit going vinyl. Actually, I think that would sound amazing.
There was also and you don't think about him by name. Koji Kondo was one as well. Big time. Takanobu Mitsuyoshi. If I said that name, you'd go, I don't know who that is.
And Thumbtack's Bionic Commando also had a female composer.
But if I said Daytona, let's go away, and started singing that's Takanobu Mitsuyoshi. And he did a bunch of arcade Sega music.
Yeah, Sega traditionally had a lot of really good music. Now, the Super Nintendo did as well, but I agree with a lot of people. A lot of the music sound and stuff like that, they both had really distinct sounds. So it's kind of hard for me to totally sway one way or another, but I think the Genesis maybe has a few more memorable tunes. If you remove Squaresoft from the picture. Because every Final Fantasy game just had an insane soundtrack.
Yeah. So that became the big kind of the big battle was audio between Nintendo and Sega. And obviously, the Genesis versus the NES was not a fair comparison because the NES was 8-bit. So the big battle came when the Super NES hit, and they had what was the name? I'm looking it up. The chip that they had inside that did basically did the very well synthesized sound. Let's see. Let's see what that was. It
did have a lot of reverb.
Technical specifications. Here we go. Audio. The SSMP. Yeah, it was actually produced by Sony. 8 voices, 8-bit audio samples. So it was sampled audio, whereas the Genesis was FM modulation. So there was that there was a big difference between the two, but when programmed right, Genesis had some incredible soundtracks.
Oh no, the Genesis had some amazing sound, and so did the SNES.
Oh, they both
did. The SNES had some like pretty phenomenal, crazy stuff on there, particularly when you started getting to some of the big hitters, right? Like the Castlevania 4 music, phenomenal. Any Squaresoft game, you name it, phenomenal. Like crazy, crazy audio. But then you could say the same thing about a lot of people like Capcom did amazing music around that time too. But they also did an 8-bit era. Because you start going to like most of the Mega Man games and the soundtracks on there are crazy. Oh, okay, Hasselhoff. I couldn't find the context and I wasn't hurt about anything. I'm just like, where's the context in this? Where is this coming from? I'm confused.
No. Now, one of the things about
Konami with Metal Gear Solid.
Yep,
absolutely. Konami with any of their games, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I
they pretty consistently had some of the best music on any system they were on, honestly.
Yeah, and it's funny with so Hasselhoff brought up Tommy as well. I brought up Spencer Nilsson. Those guys are my 1 and 2 of my all-time favorites. And I joke with them both that it's not necessarily in that order. Because I've actually just started, it's kind of funny, thanks to Tommy. I've just started kind of talking to Spencer Nilsson, which is also an incredible thing considering the music that he did. Tommy was more, had a wider umbrella of what he developed music for. Whereas Spencer Nilsson was really Sega, Genesis, Sega CD, and Saturn. So, he was more focused on one basic platform. Whereas Tommy wrote for Super Nintendo games, for Genesis games, Sega CD, and more.
So am I to read correctly in what you're in between the lines of what you're saying is that you also talked to Spencer Nilsson?
Yes.
Okay. So have you asked him about the Batman Return soundtrack for the Sega CD?
So I just started bringing that up because that is one of my favorites.
It's really, really good, but it's not Batman at all. So I was kind of wondering if he had that music already kind of laying around for like maybe he made it for another project.
Yeah, I'm going to start asking him some of that stuff. Right. So he just put out he's actually done other types of music, and he just put out an album called Here and Gone, and it's not video game related at all. And that's kind of how I got started talking to him, because Tommy pointed out that he was putting out an album. I mean, what do you mean he's putting out an album? So he made an introduction for me. And then Spencer and I have been emailing back and forth, and I started to talk about, like, I use Echo Tides of Time as like, Zen music when I'm at work and I need to, do some focusing. I put that on. If I am out doing work in the yard, I mean, the thing about Batman Returns is that even though it's not Batman style music, with the exception of the theme song, it's not the actual Batman music, because I don't think they had that license, which is kind of weird. Mm-hmm. But
it's an odd license to be missing when you're making a Batman game.
Yes, but if you remember, the Sunsoft Batman did not have it either. So, and that was based on the first movie. In fact, I'm not sure any of the Batman.
I think only the Batman arcade game had the Batman the Danny Elfman theme. And that's the only game.
Because the original Batman game, I don't think was originally going to be a Batman game, and then somebody wanted to tie it into the license.
That's possible. I mean, I could be
remembering that wrong. I think I read that it was actually supposed to be a separate Batman game, and then they just kind of reworked it a little bit to kind of fit in with the movie.
Yeah, I know. I want to say it was Firefly. The second to last boss was supposed to be the last boss.
Yeah, I think because the last boss you fight, whoever it is, 'cause I don't know who it actually is supposed to be, but that was supposed to be the last boss, and they just kind of put the Joker.
Yeah, and they kind of slapped the Joker in there at the last minute because they said no, it's got to have the Joker, and they're like, what?
and it had to have Jack Nicholson's digitized Joker on top of that. But I'm trying to think. I mean, there were the driving scenes had some. I mean, kind of fit the model of the. It fit the levels, but it didn't fit Batman. I kind of get what you're. I do kind of get what you're talking about.
It's just so mellow and I don't want to say groovy. It's not groovy at all, but it's how would I try to describe the Batman Returns theme for the
Scrambles.
It's just very loungy, I guess is.
I'm drawing a blank on this one, but I don't think I ever got around to Batman Returns as far as playing that one. And you guys are talking about specifically the Sega CD version, which I know I haven't played.
Yeah.
At most, I would have played the Genesis version.
So then you played half of the
Sega CD version is the Genesis version, just with some driving sequences.
Just with better driving sequences and better sound.
And a better soundtrack.
And better soundtrack, yeah.
Yeah.
They added those driving sequences in so that they could show off the sprite scaling and rotation power of the Genesis of the Sega CD.
But yeah, the actual Genesis Batman Returns game was.
Yeah,
hey, I need a performance chair to eat in, sir. Sir.
No, those platforming levels were not great, and in fact, they know that because one of the options of the game is you could just play the driving levels if you want.
Yeah.
So and the next.
Oh no, you didn't, Scrambles. I'm sorry, man. I'm trying to keep up with chat, and I'm doing a poor job of it. That's on me, my dude.
The Adventures of Batman and Robin, which was a fantastic platforming Genesis game. The Sega CD version is a complete driving game, and it's not even tied to the Genesis version. So,
but isn't that also like the missing Batman animated series cartoon?
Yes,
the cutscenes from the Sega CD.
This is the point in which I get up from my chair and go get it.
Yeah. Okay. Of course.
Speaking of Batman games with like really good tunes, and I can't play this game for crap. It's super hard. The Adventures of Batman and Robin on Genesis.
Yeah. Oh, that had a.
But the soundtrack, even just on the first stage, is crazy cool.
Yes,
I love that soundtrack.
So here's the Sega CD version. It basically, you are correct. I'll try to hit the back. Let me do this. Let me throw some light on it. So, driving, flying. Action, basically, this was the Lost. It was a with exclusive animation from the creators of the Adventures of Batman and Robin. It had a lost episode of the game, basically, a lost episode of the show, and you played it. Basically, the game played around it. Not a fantastic game. No, you could only drive and fly.
No, can you play as the cartoon right now? Scepter wants to see it.
Oh, could I play the cartoon? Let me see.
Thanks. I didn't realize how popular this shirt would be tonight.
See, I've got like a blue and red version of that. I think I like your yellow version better. I like my blue one. It's dope. That's just more of a classic look for Cobra Kai. I need an Eagle Fang Karate one, though.
Color scheme shirt. I don't know if it's Phil, maybe. Someone I've watched stream has this shirt, only it's the red and I think it's the red Cobra.
Ah, Omega's here. What's up, man?
Not that Cobra.
Hey, Omega.
What's up,
man? What's up, brother? All right. I don't know if this is how this is gonna look.
I don't know.
Sharing it.
I don't know. They're probably going to they're probably if they could
demonetize
me, they might. But whatever.
Not if I don't use it. Not if you don't hear it.
Well, you don't have the audio muted, but it's okay.
I do have the audio unmuted, but I don't think it'll share through.
And at this moment, Mike realized he fucked up.
I'm simply sharing the screen. Good Lord. But you can see this was done basically by the animators.
That looks pretty daggone good for something on a Sega CD disc.
Because it was animation and not live action, it was a little bit better. So somebody play, and again, I got to go back and see who said Road Avenger on Sega CD was one of the best FMV games because animation drew better than live action. It wasn't nearly as pixelated.
Well, and I mean that's what you're going to have when you have some of these. Like if you do like animation and then you do QTEs with it, the kind of like Dragon's Lair, you can make something really beautiful on very little hardware.
Yeah,
it's when you have to add in a lot of gameplay and dedicate resources to that you're going to have a bit of a problem.
So yeah, so this was.
And even this looks a little bit rougher than if you were to look at the actual cartoon.
Well, of course.
You can tell
it still looks amazing.
Yeah, because remember, the Sega CDs could, even though it could do sprite scaling, rotation, all that stuff, it still was only limited to 64 colors on screen. So it had to deal with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is...
Sorry, I'm caught up watching the cartoon now. Okay, that's a really cool vine monster from her. All right, I'm gonna get back to the chat.
Yeah,
before I lose all focus. What little focus I had. Poison Ivy was such a good villain in the animated series.
She really was. Oh yeah. But what's funny is that between the cutscenes, basically you just drove places. So there wasn't any action in this version, in this particular platform of the game. It was all driving or using the Batwing.
Now, who did the soundtrack though? Was that still Spencer Nelson?
Soundtrack for this one was done by... No, this was Burke T.
Hmm.
The animation score. Okay, so the game music was composed and produced by Burke T.
What's that on the wall? Oh, okay. that looked a little weird. That one shot.
The animation score was done. The animation score was done by Spencer. So
he did the animation, but not the gameplay music.
But not the game music.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Another soundtrack that's kind of like Batman Returns, the Spider-Man game that was on the Sega CD had a very similar soundtrack.
So that was
not as good as Batman, but it was very similar.
No, but it had a very cool title theme called Swing Time. That was done. All right, do you still want to watch this while we're talking?
That's right.
We can remove it. I'll stay very distracted if it's on there.
Yeah.
I wonder if we could play any of these and let people hear them. Of some of these. And
I say we should.
You should be able to play. You should be able to play music. I would be unless we are playing Star Wars, which always gets flagged. I don't think Sega's going to come after.
Yeah, I know better than to play Star Wars music. That's just.
Yeah, that's even for like 5 seconds.
Okay, let me see if the audio for this will come in.
Let me go put this back. I will pick up Spider-Man.
I do not know if this is...
Scepter. It was very rocky, I guess.
Yeah, this is Swing Time on Spider-Man. Now, I don't know if anybody's going to be able to hear this.
Done by Spencer Nilsson and Mr. Big. No, we're not hearing it.
Didn't hear it? Okay.
Which is weird because you can we've typically heard YouTube video sound before.
We have.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what's going on with that tonight.
I'm usually the one that does it, so let me try it. I'll just open up.
You know what? I think it's because of my default headset. Hang on.
Gotcha.
Or if Mike wants to, or if Rob wants to pull it up.
Can I share? Hold on. will it let me, if I share a video file and I pick an audio file, because I have all this stuff ripped to, yes, I think I can.
Okay.
Let me see if I can, because I have all of my Sega CDs.
Because it would be cool for people to be able to hear some of these that we're talking about if we can pull that off. I just don't think I didn't test this before we came on to do this, which is bad on my part.
Hang on, let me see. Because I have all of this stuff ripped to my hard drive.
Later, Hasselhoff. Thanks for popping in, man. I appreciate it.
You demand.
Nope.
Sorry, video file does not have
an ad. Hold on.
We'll get flagged if you can't play it. That's true.
This is true.
This is kind of butt rocking.
Save this city. Sad that I know this.
The thing is, with most soundtracks, I usually prefer on the games if they don't have vocals. For some reason, I don't hate it. I just find like just giving me a good tune for it is sometimes a little better.
Hold on, let me try something that may or may not work. Give me a second here. Let me see if I can pull in my trick that I use on our show with OBS, because I use a program called Voice Meter Banana, and it mixes stuff together. Give me a second here.
Yeah, I haven't tried just playing, and I could have sworn we've heard audio from YouTube.
You're right.
Through
this
here
would be
before,
awesome,
and I don't know why it's not working tonight.
Get music.
I'm sure I screwed something up in settings.
Another app is controlling your sound right now. All right, hold on. Let me change my audio
try something
settings.
That may or may not work. Famous last words. Spoken like a man that's had bad experiences with OBS.
If we were on OBS, it'd be working wonderfully.
I don't know if I ever tried to. I recorded music from movies and stuff all the time, complete with the lines spoken over the score. But I never actually tried to record video game music, which is odd to me because I love listening to it.
I think I'm the same way. I didn't actually do that until like YouTube when I was doing research for like different videos and I wanted some background music.
Check.
And then I started going to video game music, so I'd record it and use it off of YouTube that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember trying to do it. I don't even remember trying to look for albums for it. Now I've gotten in the habit of like the last 3 or 4 albums that I bought was like the Doom 2016 soundtrack. There's a band called The Greatest Bits, and what they do is they do recreations of like 8 and 16-bit music. So I bought one of their albums, and then there's one other album. Let me see if I can find the Killer Instinct soundtrack was another one. Because it came with a new soundtrack and the old soundtrack. And since I can't find my old disc, and when I moved phones, it wiped it off of my current phone. I couldn't find my backup. I'm like, crap, I'll never have that again. And then I found this combined soundtrack that had them both, and I'm like, oh, well, that's an easy sell.
Yeah, I love that Killer Cuts CD.
Oh yeah, the SNE, the one that came with the SNES card was amazing. The new one's great too.
I worked at Blockbuster at the time, and we got a bunch of those Killer Instinct cartridges in to rent them out, and they just kind of threw away all the CDs, so I actually grabbed a bunch.
Oh, dude. I had somebody, honestly, I was driving down the road and a buddy of mine pulled up next to me and he wanted me to hand him that disc while we were driving at 45 miles an hour. And I'm like, absolutely not. That is not happening, sir. And I'd say, if you're going to do Mega Man and Super Mario,
album too.
Mega Man.
Like the Immortals actually did like vocalized versions of all the character themes.
Mm-hmm.
Incredibly cheesy music, but it was I still love listening to it.
Dude, I got the greatest bits album I bought was the Mega Man 2 soundtrack. So it's got like all the Masters themes. It's got the intro theme. I think it's got the end theme on it. I have to play some of it for you at one point. It's not exact to the game music. It's not just the MIDI tracks ripped. They've done some work to it. to kind of make it a little bit more like a musician did it, like with instruments and synthesizers and stuff, as opposed to having to work within the limitations of MIDI. And it's really good. I mean, it's not the original, but it's really, really good. Snowmobile, the game on the PS1 that had a wave file game disc with a Rob Zombie song. That's interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of music that we literally couldn't play on here. Like Tony Hawk had an amazing compilation music on pretty much all those. Crazy Taxi had a ton of really good music. But that was all licensed music from.
Can you hear that?
Yes.
There we go. I think I got it working. All right, let's try this again. So can you guys in the chat hear this? And how does it sound? Soundtrack is freaking awesome. Slipping in and out of the shadows. Every man's hero, driven by the sound of the street. Right here, copyrighted. I'll ask Spencer if it's okay. Now it's swing time, flying for justice. Swing time, take no prisoners. Swing time.
You hear me again. So you get echo.
I'm not hearing any echo.
I am.
So that's swing time. Kind of nice.
Jim,
back it up, boys.
Sean Ma lasted. And we're canceled, folks. Been fun.
Now, since and I've got, let's see.
One time I played a Nintendo.
Let's see. So this you would certainly recognize, since we had talked about this earlier. And talking about Tommy from Video Games Live.
Please put your hands together.
I love Castlevania music.
I've never heard this version of the song. Mike, what is this? What are we listening to?
I think that's from Video Games Live, isn't it?
Yes.
He's got several albums, I think, that he's got up. He kickstarted them, but I don't know if they ever made it to like iTunes. I think they're on Spotify.
They are. You can hear all of this on Spotify. He made this available to pre-order folks as a gift because of the last.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah, I think I've got all that downloaded.
Yeah, I have all of it. Let's see. Where is? There it is. Vampire Hunter. So this I can play.
Dances like a Bamondo. We play Castlevania music. Omega is a happy camper.
There you go. So you're welcome. I've got. So what's funny is,
and Jan had a question that we haven't really addressed yet. He's asked it a couple times. Which video game series, Mega Man or Super Mario, had the best and worst music? I would argue that Mega Man probably consistently has some of the best music, and Super Mario is slightly behind because most of that music is pretty solid too.
All right, I'm gonna give one.
I would say that Castlevania had overall the best music if you actually look at them as a whole series.
Yeah, he was asking specifically to these two series, though.
I don't think he was actually asking specifically about those two series. I think he was giving those an example of what he meant by series.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do that, then Castlevania absolutely all the way through Symphony of the Night and I think beyond has killer tracks.
Mm-hmm. Well,
consistently
Mr. Yamane has done the soundtrack to most of the Castlevania games even since Symphony of the Night. So even the PS2 games that no one plays still have amazing soundtrack from her.
This is for Chuck, by the way. Chuck will know this.
Night Stalker.
One of his favorite.
Lords of Thunder.
Lords of Thunder.
That has such an awesome soundtrack.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, Lords of Thunder has got amazing music to it.
Yeah, this is some incredible stuff. Let's see.
I think this one was my favorite one. That one you were just playing.
It's called Ozal. Ozal.
I like the bass line in that one.
Yeah.
I swear I downloaded that, Mike, but I can't find my copy of that music anywhere. I may have to grab that copy of it from you.
Okay.
Because I don't know if the site for it's still up.
It was a Humble Bundle thing. I'll see if the link still works. If it does, I'll send you the link. He gave us all of it.
Yeah, I remember that, and I thought I grabbed all of it, but I cannot for the life of me find it. That bugs me now.
Now, so if we're talking about, like, most well-known popular songs, then obviously...
Sega CD soundtrack. Hey, Andy. Good to see you, by the way.
Whoa. Hold on. I got you covered, Andy.
Emily! Good to see you, Emily.
And this is one of my favorites from that soundtrack. That was one of the...
Yeah, both Thumb and Jim have mentioned Dragon Quest.
This is one of my favorites from the Final Fight soundtrack. I love that.
It's got some funk to it.
Yeah.
Wait, are we upset? Did we collectively decide we're upset with Lit? Is that a thing now?
See, there we go. And it's actually called the West Side Andor Cage Fight and Stage Ending, Andy. I love this soundtrack. But I love this particular track in particular. This particular track in particular. So
I didn't know we had all fans pimping going on in the chat, guys.
So for you, Rob,
that's pretty dope. You get one freebie.
I was looking this way.
That's the first driving scene.
This one's my favorite track from that soundtrack.
Yeah,
that's a really good track.
I have a couple.
But it doesn't scream Batman.
No, but I can kind of see where it's.
Yeah, Double Dragon Neon has some cool music to it. I find that game frustrating to me because it's very difficult to play, like almost insanely hard to get through. But the villain in it, Skullmageddon, is fantastic in every way, and the music is phenomenal.
Have you heard
the
the
art style's
song that
great.
he sings at the end of the game for the credits?
No, I haven't been able to get through the game, dude. I got to like.
You probably just have to watch it on YouTube or something because he sings the end credit music.
Does he?
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
It's Skeletor singing basically about how
Nice. Okay, hold on.
Jimmy kicked his butt, but he just wanted a girlfriend. And
hang on,
I need to put some more time into that game. Oh my god! Hey, Colin, good to see you. And Andy, we were pretty excited to do this one too.
Hang on, I got you covered, Kamikaze. Give me 1 second. And I'll do the regular one, not the extended, because there's 2 versions of this. Well, this is the end credit one. Now, this is Spencer Nielsen straight up. I mean, this is. You can fly, you can reach the other side. I am such a nerd that I have
this late 80s, early 90s vibe where you've got like synth music mixed with like guitar and all that. It's such a cool, kitschy little slice of music that you don't see done much anymore.
Now, so that's the extended version. Let me play this is the version that Kamikaze's probably more thinking of. This was the opening credit.
Like Double Dragon meets Bill and Ted. Yeah, I could totally see that. Yeah, Neon is kind of like Double Dragon meets Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Let me know if that's too loud in the chat, by the way. I can't tell.
No, I can hear it. Yeah, I was playing with a buddy, and we were both struggling so hard on it that all we were doing was using the tape thing to rewind each other, and it just became a nightmare. And I've tried playing it solo, and I get to the same spot and struggle in the same spot. Oh, hey, Dreadpool. Oh, man, we're just glad you're here, man.
I think Jake Coffin might actually be one of the best video game composers working today. Like, he's done so many amazing, including Double Dragon Neon. But the Shovel Knight soundtrack is amazing. The Shantae soundtracks are amazing. Contra 4.
I've got
Shantae's a series I never got too deep into. It always looked really cute and fun. I just never dug too deep into them.
I've only played one game.
Here's Lunar for Jim. Lunar, the Silver Star Story.
Lunar is a great RPG. I need to dig into those more. So I played through like one of them, and it was a great experience. Or it was a Sega CD one.
There was.
When all the land is peaceful and there is no further to us at last.
Oh, the sad piano theme. God, I remember it like you hit this town, and at first the town is all like bustling and all that stuff. You go off and fight, you come back and the town is destroyed, and you hear this, and like it totally just changes the entire. Scepter. My man.
They're calling you out tonight, man.
He could call me out.
They're 100% calling you out tonight.
He is welcome to. Of course, I have Sonic R.
Actually, I would argue Tekken in general has very good music.
Oh, that's the instrumental version. Hang on, Scepter. Let me play you the non-instrumental. Yeah.
Emily, who's twerking in chat?
Come on, Scepter. I thought you had a challenge for me. This is TJ Davis, by the way.
We're gonna get flagged for sure.
Now, so there are some other. I mean, I can do this all night. There are some other soundtracks that were in that Sega CD.
Tonight we have RetroRoots Greatest Hits. You're getting claimed the copyright song, and who can forget? I'm surprised your channel is still alive. Hey, we're doing okay. We're not in one of Zombies streams where half the time where I'm in there, they get like shut down in the middle of the stream for some reason. It got so bad one night they were drawing pictures of the scenes that they wanted to show in the movies they wanted to show, which was brilliant. It was wonderful.
There is a game on the Saturn. The game itself is not great. It's a futuristic racer called Cyber Speedway.
Janet is not, sir. We're doing it anyway.
Have you guys ever? Either of you ever heard of that game, Cyber Speedway?
I think I might even have it. I think.
I don't think I've heard of it. No.
This is I play this all the freaking time.
What is that, rhythm guitar?
Yep.
It doesn't sound like lead, and it's definitely not bass.
It's kind of a lead
like
guitar.
a guitar.
Because he goes into something else in a second.
And Mike says, since you're taking requests, Secret of Menopause theme.
Yeah, if it's not Sega, I don't have it. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, this also had a track that had lyrics called Tabitha. So the group that did this is called the Bygone Dogs, and they were on the cover.
Okay. Apparently he got Doja Cat, Nicki Minaj, and Peterity. He only got a warning. All right.
Yeah.
So we're probably in the clear.
No, there's two types of things. You can get a copyright claim, which basically says, yeah, we found your music with our algorithm. You can't monetize the stream.
Yeah, that's the one that we would get. I normally, like, a lot of times I'll contest those too, just because I don't want them on my channel. Some of them I just gave up on because I'm like, yeah, I'm doing a critique directly of this particular track, so whatever.
You never get a copyright strike for playing music. She's on my mind. What type of thought? Driving me wild. I mean, I don't know why. It's like this was.
Oh, this is gonna be the last episode of RetroRoots, Jan. I think we're fine. I think we'll be okay.
This was like the golden age of music for me. I mean, let me put it this way: when I got the Sega CD, it was my first CD-based platform, right? And the disc, it came with basically 2 discs, maybe 3. It came with Sherlock Holmes, Consulting Detective, which was a full motion video game. Mm-hmm. It came with that. It came with the Column, Streets of Rage, and Golden Axe Genesis games. And then it came with a game called Soul Feast, which was basically the Sega CD version of Soul Feast on cartridge.
Yeah, I've seen you stream Soul Feast before.
Soul Feast.
Matter of fact, I think you've shown it on here before, just to show some of the gameplay.
Not Still Feed, Soul Feast. SOL-.
Oh, different game. Okay, different game.
This Soul Feast is a horizontal shooter.
the one you showed was clearly, it was vertical. So that's
that's Sylphid, which also had a decent soundtrack. But imagine, you're just getting your first CD-based. You've had cartridge all this time. You get a CD-based console, and the first thing that you hear when you get to the first stage is this. And that's what you start your shooting to.
See, I get last Starfighter vibes from that, which is good.
But it's real fast-paced.
Andy, the
I've heard of that game, but I don't think I've ever
composer for that game. That's what's his name? Someone else knows. But Software Creations Limited, the composer for those games, he has some. He and his brother just have amazing music. Yeah, that does sound far and away better and more than what the NES should be capable of. Like Silver Surfer. Drawn a total blank on Tim Fallon. Thank you, Tim and Jeff Fallon. They were just virtuosos of chiptunes.
I don't know what Solstice is. I've heard that name before, but I don't think
It's
I ever played it.
Like a 3D. No, 3D. It's like an isometric, very kind of awkward to play platformer. So imagine like a platformer that you actually have to make kind of precision jumps, but it's at that angle, so you can't really tell depth.
It's like an isometric platformer where it's angled a little bit. Yeah, I've played those before. They're very frustrating because of the depth perception with the way you have to jump.
Very British thing to do.
Yeah, isometric puzzle platform. Those are very frustrating a lot of times, I find. I've played a couple of Light Crusaders kind of like that. And it's very annoying to play for that same reason, because where you think you need to jump isn't really where you need to jump, and it can get you killed a lot of times.
All right, so I would be remiss if I did not give some Super Mario.
It's such a different experience hearing an actual band play it than it is to...
I'm trying to find... Well, you know what? I've got the Super Mario 64 soundtrack, so hold on. Let's try something a little more. There we go. I can play this too.
That was such an epic track when you first jumped into the game. It was such a big jump. It was a huge jump in audio when you moved to that.
Yeah, it really was. The N64 could do some music.
I don't know. The N64 was a really good console overall as far as design, hardware, everything like that. There were a lot of things that killed that console, but the specs and the sound were not it.
No. That's about, I've got a ton of music here.
Yeah, GoldenEye had amazing
the
sound.
Best thing about Kirby games, they always have great soundtracks.
Yeah, I never got deep into Kirby. I probably should dig more into that series. I picked up the latest one. I just haven't booted it up to really mess with it yet. It looked like fun.
I just
haven't gotten around
Kirby
to it.
games, but I have a bunch of the soundtracks.
I would say you're right, Lit. The jump from Mario to Mario World, as far as music goes, was a much bigger jump than from Mario World to 64. 64 had a lot more realistic sound, but the tunes were way more complex from Super Mario World 2.
So this is what I have for Super Mario 3D World.
Yeah, I think he means like the SNES World.
Gotcha. That I don't.
I think that's the one he's talking about because he was talking about Super Mario Brothers and the subsequent NES games to World on the SNES.
Now, another
and 3 absolutely did pave the way for World.
Now I do also have. So I gotta play this. Hold on. Gotta know what this is, Rob. At least Rob, maybe Nick. Very.
Oh, is that Outrun?
Okay, I never played Outrun, so that one doesn't resonate with me.
I'm sorry, what?
I was not big on racers, so that was an easy kind of skip for me because I wasn't huge into racing games. I'm still not really.
All right, so for bonus points, what's the actual name of this song?
I think you already said it.
It's not Step to Beat.
No.
It's incorrect.
No, it's not Splash.
And yeah, let me hit the jump from Super Mario Brothers to Super Mario World.
Well, that's Blast Wave, isn't it?
No, this is. I'm putting it in the chat. Yep, Magical Sound Shower.
Yeah, I think Thumb got it just before you kind of put it in there.
So the
or close enough that I'd give it to him at least.
Well, you got it wrong the first time, though.
Yeah.
Well, he got it right the second time, so.
You got it right the second time. What was the one you were talking? You said Splash Wave. So Splash Wave. This was Splash Wave.
This is my favorite of the 3.
This is my least favorite.
Wow. Well, I gotta be all.
Shots fired! Holy cow!
This one sucks.
No,
your taste in music is trash, man. So harsh. Yeah, let's say the music in Victory Run on TurboGrafx 16 is badass.
Magical Sound Shower is my favorite. My second favorite was Passing Breeze. Get ready.
Hang On had some pretty good music too.
Yes, it did. So did. Where is it? Hold on.
Mighty Bomb Jack. I don't remember. Thumbs up. I'm getting that run vinyl.
That's a great vinyl. That is a great one. Let's see. It might take
music is like 80s porn. Emily, if you want my channel to get firmly canceled, that is the best way to do it, my dear.
That's very good.
So this was the SST band, which was Sega's kind of.
I have this album, I think.
I love this song too.
I do like that track.
Rob, what's this team too?
This is from Space Harrier.
Yes, sir.
We may want to wrap this. Oh, there's Ever Canadian. Good to see you, man.
Hey, what's
we may
up?
want to wrap this up here pretty soon. I got to work here in less than an hour, and I would like to see my wife this evening. Before I work till like 5 o'clock in the morning.
I mean, I honestly could sit here and.
I could totally do another stream on this or sit here and do this all night. The problem is I have 2 maintenance windows tonight. That's my problem.
No, I got you. I mean, there really is so much other great music in the CD era, and I can go get more if people have thoughts. Like, this is all stuff that I just happen to have that I've ripped, because the Saturn and the Sega CD were just, I mean, it was straight, they called it Red Book audio. So the tracks you could put this in a CD player and simply play it. So I would put these into the computer, and I would basically rip them down with Windows Media Player. There is so much good music that I've accumulated just from my games. And there's so much good stuff that you probably don't even realize. And there's modern stuff too. And I'll just give you this real quick. So this is from a game that came out on the Wii, the Xbox, the Blob. I really dig this. And this game is decent, but the music makes it so much better.
Yeah, I've definitely listened to the soundtrack a lot more than played the game.
It's like, Geeks is like, this is great, but I got shit to do.
I mean, you can go off and do your work. Rob and I can handle this. No, I mean, I'm serious. I could sit here and play tracks. I mean, I do get
70s music on this one lit for sure.
Oh yeah,
it's more like I don't know, what genre would you say this music is? Like a lot of times it's like the 60s kind of ooh la la, like
well, you would know, lit.
I would say this is. I love our chat so much. This is funk.
Yeah, it's pretty funky.
This is funk.
But it definitely has like kind of a late 60s vibe to it. Like this is what like James Bond would be dancing to when he was.
You know what? It's almost like, actually, I kind of get Ocean's 11 vibes out of it.
Yeah.
I can see a little bit of that. It's got a little bit of like Reno Strip to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thumb says Austin Powers. Austin Powers fits
too.
I
can see that. All right, so here's since we're getting a little bit more modern, everybody knows this.
Yeah, there's a reason I wore a Halo Reach shirt, man. I mean, you don't talk video game music and not talk about Halo.
Well, this is why this is for you. I know we've got to go, and I wanted to hit this before we left. Just close your eyes.
Chat's all on up on porn. The drums with that guitar is so phenomenal.
I love the strings in here.
Yeah, Halo and Uncharted have amazing soundtracks. Oh, I didn't even know they put Halo and Guitar Hero. I bet you that's amazing.
Now this is Halo 1. Halo 2.
Yeah, I'm totally going to get a copyright at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll definitely happen with this track. Might not happen with the others, but it'll probably happen with this track. I'd like to see the Halo thing pop up in, like, say, Beat Saber. I bet you it's damn near impossible to play, but it'd be fun to try.
Wild.
Somebody's probably done it. There's websites where you can pull in, like, tracks, but sometimes it doesn't work when they do new revisions. You know what, man? I actually had their theme song on the video where I was talking about that self-transforming prime, and I got a copyright strike for something totally different. So I got that one taken off because it was some like hip hop song for a commercial back in like the 90s, and they're like, this is our track, and I'm like, if Hasbro wants to come after me, they're more than welcome to, but this is not your track, sir. I promise you this is not your track.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, you really would be surprised. I've gotten slapped for
some composers are
composers
and publishers and game houses are just really shitty about it.
Yeah,
some of them really.
And
are.
sometimes it's not even
honestly.
them; it's the properties it's the copyright people that own it too. Like I got slapped down for the original Castlevania Stage 5, Hearts of Fire, I want to say. And I had to contest that one too because it was some orchestral. It was some
I've gotten
soundtrack.
Anytime I play a Konami game, I'm getting a copyright claim on a bullshit video. Just some rap version of the song.
Remember that night that we all played? The hell was that multiplayer game? It was on Xbox. You were playing on PC, and we were the zombie one. Back for Blood. Remember when we played Back for Blood?
Yeah.
And we went into that bar, and there was a...
Oh, you got nailed for that music?
I got nailed for that music. It was cover. It was a freaking cover of a song, and I got nailed for it.
That is so dumb.
Dude, I had to change my NLG Live intro music because it was a cover of Uncharted, and I got nailed for it. So I had to change the song to. I mean, it's so stupid.
I'm sorry. Look at it, Canadians coming. Oh my god. And he's like really good friends with most of the people in that company too. That's hysterical.
That is great. Oh my.
Oh, it's messed up. Oh yeah, no, that's a huge thing, man. That's a very common thing on YouTube. You'll have people go through and just file bogus claims all the time. And the thing is, they get to keep whatever revenue happens within the first 24 hours or however long it takes for that to come down as far as contested. So it's in their interest to do it to make money. It's kind of BS, but they do it anyway.
There you go, fighting game fam.
I make it boom.
Just trailer. Oh my god, dude.
My favorite track out of Street Fighter 2.
And Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat's had a lot of good music for it. Mostly soundtracks for the movie, but there's still a lot of good music there. Killer Instinct, we were talking about its soundtrack earlier, and the in-game music is amazing. And we can't play it here because it definitely will get slapped down. MVC2's theme.
Which
Marvel
one?
Versus Capcom 2.
Oh.
Take you for a ride.
You don't think we can play that? I bet you can.
I don't know if you can.
Because
Even
Game Room has that.
Game Room has it, but he had somebody do a cover of it.
He's using the actual game.
Is he?
Yeah.
I thought he had somebody do a cover.
Well, there's like a bunch of different versions of the song, but he's using like an original.
Yeah, Lit actually did say that Giles and Ken's themes are fantastic. He said that like way earlier.
But anyway, I mean, I know you got to get to work. There's.
Oh, dude, I could do this for like 4 more hours if I had time.
Yeah.
If I had those 4 more hours, I'd do it.
If I had 4 more hours to do it, that would be a thing.
Well, might be Microsoft soon.
Wish Activision would claim my Pitfall intro rip it would show they actually cared about the franchise. Oh, that shouldn't be that funny. That should be more sad than funny. Oh my god.
I wish I had. I have Pitfall: The Mayan Adventure. That's not really as memorable a soundtrack as like Pitfall 2.
Is it Tommy?
Mayan Adventure? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Hold on. The part where I go and get it.
Okay, time to go listen to Cigar Brooks. I can't do it, man. I tried to get into country a long time ago, particularly growing up in the South, and I couldn't do it. It's just not my style of music. There's a lot of really good talented artists in that genre. I just can't get into it.
I get for not having it in alphabetical order. All right, what am I looking for?
I guess the
My friends in low places.
Right. No. What am I looking for?
To see if that was Tommy.
Oh, if it was Tommy, I don't think so. But let me see.
I don't know if he did all the soundtracks to all the Shiny games, but or all the.
This was that at this
I'm
point.
gonna laugh if we get claimed because I'm putting out the lyrics to "I Got Friends in Low Places."
But who developed this guy? Because that's a not David Crane, but the Earthworm Jim guy.
Earthworm Jim was Tommy. Well, he did a good part of it at least. Yeah, I don't think he was the only composer there, but he did a lot of work on it.
Not done by the original Shiny team, but I am looking at animation music by Sound Deluxe Media Labs.
Just don't sing it, read it.
Designed and produced by Scott Gershin and Kelly Rogers. Composers Lee Scott, Robert Higgins, and David Newper. So no, this was Sound Deluxe Media Labs, and you are correct. Pitfall was David Crane.
Was it David Crane? Okay, because I know there's a couple different famous video game Davids.
Yeah, but this one was not, because at this point, Pitfall was owned by Activision.
David Perry is the one I was. David Crane is the other.
David Crane is at it. Yeah, Pitfall was never Shiny Entertainment. It was always Activision.
All right, guys. I definitely need to wrap this up. Any last thoughts for tonight, other than the fact that we probably need to do this again?
Oh goodness!
Next time we should just jump right into the music.
I think that's a good idea. I think we're probably going to do part 2 of this. Probably not the next one, but we probably definitely need to do automatically help for review. What? How did that get held?
Is it already happening? Is it going on?
I don't know. I don't know. Lib put up something and then apparently immediately Mike hit it for review. I have no idea what it was though. Because I didn't even see it. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. Any final thoughts? Mike, go.
I love video game music.
Okay. Rob?
I also love video game music. That's
okay.
Kind of all I listen to.
Thanks, three of us. We all love video game music. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Those of you guys that stuck out the whole way, or those of you guys that just popped in for 2 to 5 minutes, we appreciate all of you coming in, especially all those that chimed in and participated in the conversation. Thank you so much for hanging out with us again on Monday. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Hopefully I'll see some of you guys on the channel a little bit later in the week. I'm definitely going to try to stream tomorrow. I don't know if I'll do Thursday or not. I kind of want to start getting another day in on the week. I just haven't figured out when is a good day to do it. But till next time, guys, happy gaming.
Stay on, gamers.